As a Frenchman, this literally blows my mind. There is a trend now among Americans and other Anglo nations which consists of moving to France now in 2024, 2025. I can't believe it. Anyway, I've seen a lot of videos online in English boasting France, saying how amazing it is to live here, sugarcoating the entire thing. But you know, as a French 39 years old countryside guy, you won't fool me. I'm gonna talk about the truth, the cold hard truth, what you need to know, and why you would think twice before moving to France in 2025. So buckle up, as they say, and let's get right into it. Let's start with the pros, and later on we'll be talking about the cons and what you should know before moving or even consider this country I'm currently in now. Now I'm in France. I'm a French guy. So, first pro of France being the food. Yes, the food is amazing. It's good, it tastes good, the quality of the food is good. Even processed food is of pretty good quality here in France. And when I am living abroad, I do miss the French food. Its taste and its quality. That's a very good point. Other than that, France is a beautiful country. It's not that big, but there is a variety of things you can see, beautiful landscapes, the scenery is amazing. We have got the mountains, the sea, the ocean, the north doesn't look like the south, climate can change depending where you are. It's a beautiful country, okay? And I miss a lot of landscapes, French landscapes, when I am abroad, okay? Other than that, if you are from Canada, the US, France will be cheaper. It will be, let's say, 30 up to 50% cheaper depending where you go, depending where you move, a big city, the countryside, but it will be cheaper, okay? Other than that, it's the West. It's a pretty easy move, okay? French is a easy language, a rather easy language for other Europeans. It's even easier if you are from Italy, Spain, but still if you're a native English speaker, it's still a pretty easy language to learn, okay? It's not Mandarin or Russian or Japanese. It's the West. It's even a American puppet state. So yeah, you are at home basically. People like the American way of life. They have on average a pretty good opinion about Americans in America. They tend to copy, you know, what's coming from America, the trends and so on. So yeah, it's a pretty, you won't be disoriented here if you're an American, a Canadian, a Brit, for example. And that's another good point. Other than that, infrastructure is still good, especially the roads. Hospitals are still okay. You will hear a lot of French people complaining about the hospitals, how it's getting worse. It's getting worse sometimes, but on average, compared to what I've seen abroad, it's still okay. It's still good, okay? In the cities, it's a little bit worse. Cities are not as maintained as they used to be, but in the countryside, I found the infrastructure to be quite good, okay? Better than in Eastern Europe, Russia, or even in Asia. Other than that, climate, the French climate is still okay. You will hear French people complaining about the climate as well, but I found the French climate to be, depending where you are, of course, the north is colder, grayer, but here in the south we get a lot of sun. It's not too cold. It doesn't get too cold. If you want to enjoy the cold and see the snow, you still can. You can go to the mountains. We have the sea not far. It's still a good climate to live in, and it's underrated, I think. And now let's talk about the cons of living in France and what you should know before even considering moving to France. First, biggest con of living in France in 2024, 2025, because it will get only worse, is the insecurity problems, okay? Crime is rising, it's running out of control. Stabbings, rapes, shootings is happening on a daily basis. You don't believe me? Get fluent in French and read the news. It's insane, okay? Some places here in France are war zones. They call it no-go zones. but they are basically war zones. Okay, there people have, you know, machine guns. They have the same guns as in the army. These are very dangerous places. If I were in your shoes, I would avoid to live in French cities. They are not maintained, they are dirty, a lot of trash everywhere, a lot of homeless people, not safe. You will get stabbed if you're not careful. If you are a woman, be very careful. Don't walk alone at night and even with other men. The problem is in France, this. In France, you can defend yourself. At least you Americans, you can carry a gun. Here, we are not allowed to carry guns. But criminals, aggressors still have guns. All the time. Or at least they have knives. So it doesn't matter if you are an amazing fighter or you know, a boxing champion. Doesn't matter. They will just shoot you, or a bunch of guys will come and stab you. And you can defend yourself. If you defend yourself, you will get in trouble, not the aggressor. And that's a huge problem. And the reason why I don't want to raise kids in France and I don't see myself living here any longer. Period. Okay? It's just unbearable. It's not a safe country. So here in the countryside, we are better off. And I would recommend, if you still want to move to France, to consider the countryside. Here in the countryside, it's still okay. So no, of course, there is trouble sometimes. Depending where you go in the countryside, it can be better or worse, but it is still okay. The mountains are still okay. Some places far away, remote places are still okay. But avoid France's big cities: Lille, Lyon, Marseille, of course, Paris, Bordeaux, Toulouse. All these places now are not worth it. Okay. Moving on to the next one. France is the most taxed country on earth. Okay, so if you are a freelancer or if you have your own business, think twice, because tax-wise, this is the worst place to be. And I wouldn't mind, you know, paying high taxes if we were rewarded for it, you know, if this country was safe and very advanced. It's not the case anymore. It's still, you know, a so-called rich country. It's still the West. We are still quite, no, I wouldn't say well off anymore, but still okay here. But considering, you know, the high crime rate, which is only getting worse, the infrastructure, especially in the cities, not maintained, the country not really moving forward anymore, I think it's not worth paying such high taxes anymore. So think twice. If you are a freelancer, if you are an entrepreneur, this is probably the worst place to be. Okay, don't believe me? Look online. This is the most taxed country on earth. Period. Okay. Other than that, you will need to learn French. You can't live here without speaking French. And another problem is, even though French people suck at speaking English or other, you know, languages, foreign languages, they will be very picky with your French. If you are an American or a German and you make mistakes in French, or you have a very strong accent, or you mispronounce, you know, some words, they will be picky. Okay, they will be more than happy to be picky with your language ability, even though they suck at languages. So that's another problem. If you want to move to France and look for a job here, think twice. Unless you are very fluent in French, in both written and spoken form, think twice, because they will be very picky with your French language abilities. That's another con about France. I don't like, because I'm a French guy. I do speak multiple languages, and I think we should give people a fair go when it comes to languages. If someone is trying to speak a language which is not his first language, his mother tongue, we should give this person a fair go. The French won't. Some will, but most won't. That's another problem of living in France. Okay. Other than that, there is no really reason to move here anymore. Not safe, high taxes. Wages will be lower if you are from the UK, Canada, America. The wages will be lower here. You won't make as much money. Sure, it will be cheaper to live here, 30 up to 50% cheaper, but you will make less, so it's more or less the same, okay? So yeah, if I wear your shoes, I wouldn't consider moving to France at all, okay? So if you still want to move to France because you love the French language, which is beautiful, I agree. If you are into French culture, you know, you respect this country for what it used to be. It used to be a great country. It has, you know, influenced the entire world. And you still want to move to France, consider the countryside. Be very careful in French big cities. They are not safe, especially at night, especially alone. If you are a woman, be very careful. Don't go alone. I mean, don't go out alone at night. And yeah, be careful. And don't try to be an entrepreneur here, okay? If you are a small entrepreneur, freelancer, it will be okay. You won't pay that much taxes. But once you will hit, you know, the six figures, you will have to leave. Otherwise, you will pay so much taxes you won't even believe it. You know, something like 70-80%, which is insane, okay? Anyway. Yeah, unless you are French yourself and you have French family here, which is my case. I'm French, I have my family here and I have to be here for the time being. I wouldn't even consider this country. Okay. Anyway, smash that like button if this was useful. Consider subscribing. So I'm a 39 years old French countryside guy. And I will be talking about France and, you know, international life stuff later on. Links below are available. Check them in the description and comment below. Are you living in France? If you want to move to France, why are you even considering France? You know, now in 2024. In the 80s, yes, this used to be in the 70s, 80s, this used to be a paradise. It used to be a very good country, okay? High standard of living, very free country. But now, give me a reason to be here. Other than that, of course, we have wokeism, just like the US. Very left-wingy politicians. Yeah. Move to another place, man. Anyway, talk to you soon and have a good one.